here's another League of Legends game coming your way, this time in the jungle. And I don't know if things are going to move just yet because I am in a different window. I'm planning on going Vi this game, and I'm installing my Green Lantern skin right now. So with the changes Riot has been making to the client, how I'm pretty sure they're trying to crack down on custom skins. I'm only going to be installing the ones I'm playing as. There's no longer any risk of running up into any enemy lanterns and stuff like that. Unless the enemy team all of a sudden grabs Vi before I get my pick, but it's a risk. As for what I'm going to be doing this game, I may do tank Vi. So I'll be going for Strength of the Ages and Cinderhulk rather than Warrior, even though Warrior is pretty sweet because it gives you a lot of AD and the 10% CDR so you can ult more. But in case you're wondering about the way Tank Vi works, your key items are going to be Cinderhulk, Frozen Fist, and eventually a Black Cleaver. So it's very similar to Skarner, in case you're trying to think about where you've seen that on this channel before. Tryndamere, eh? So yeah, we definitely do need a tank. I'd prefer one that could actually gank, otherwise I'd probably try Maokai since he has been recently buffed. As for Jarvan, I found out you can't get the chest if you don't own the character, so I'm not bothering with him just yet. Once I actually buy him, he'll be back in. In case you're wondering, yes, I did record a game with him, so I may put that up just in case, but he will be making an appearance later on once I have the 4,800. Because if you didn't notice, I did buy Aurelion Sol. So I'm kind of broke right now. Like, the alternative to Vi here would be a Mumu. And I said I just installed the skin, so let's go Vi. Going for Chaser here, that's movement speed Quince, 8 AD reds, 1 crit red, scaling armor yellows, scaling MR blues. As for my mastery page, yeah, I'm gonna stick to this. But actually, you know what, let's just do Bounty Hunter. I'll use the exact same page I used for the previous video. Since Vi charges in, you don't have to worry about tenacity or slow resist. Gain more defensive stats is helpful, especially since I'm going to have a high HP build here. This is going to give me additional 300. Cinderhulk's going to give me like 300 more than the additional health from the Cinderhulk multiplier. Then you have to factor in what I'm going to be getting from the eventual Black Cleaver, the Dead Man's Plate I'd like to build, stuff like that. Now I know not every Jax anymore does go for the, wow, that Annie skin's kind of nice. Nice art. Since Jax doesn't always build Trinity Force anymore, there's no guarantee this guy will have any crit, so I won't have reason necessarily to go for Aranduin's to deal with his crit. We'll see. But the flip side is they do have a lot of AD on their side with Draven, Jax, Corki, even though Corki and Jax do hybrid damage. That's making a Zerat portal seem very tempting for later on in my build. That way I get a little bit of MR to deal with them, since neither of them are going to have penetration most likely, or a serious amount, I mean. Would be kind of interesting to see the return of Wit's End on Jax. Definitely would not like to be against Jax in that game though, especially if he does get it like 3rd or 4th item. I think this will be my first time seeing Noxus Poppy in-game since her rework. I really can't stand what Poppy's become. Anyway, for Vi, she is one of the characters that is better with the machete than the talisman. That's because you do a lot of auto-attacking with your W. And you don't have as much AoE because your Q and your E are very long cooldown early on. And basically, by the time their cooldown comes down, you'll have your jungle item anyway, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, a couple things have changed since the last Vi video I did. First of which is her passive is the cooldown scales with level now instead of it just being fixed levels. So if you don't understand what I mean, this is going to be like 17 seconds at level 2, then like 16 and so on, instead of it being at level 7 and level 13. The next part is they doubled the base damage on your E, I believe, but I'm still maxing this last. Pretty much the only reason I like to use this is as an auto attack reset and to get the denting blows to go more quickly. So basically my combo when going in is Q into them, auto attack real quick, and then pop E to instantly proc the denting blows. So that's going to reduce armor, which is going to be helpful for dealing with Jax. Yeah, I kind of thought that myself about the new Draven skin. Yeah, I'm only at around 90. But part of that is because I'm recording.
Plan? I don't need a plan.
Anyway, this may be the last Taric we see before the rework. Okay, thanks guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get the potion ticking right now, even though I don't need it quite yet. It's just gonna be helpful for when I... oh, that's right, no burning damage. For dealing with red buff. You can see I'm pretty healthy. Forgot to arrange the characters. Sublime. Red buff should kill this. Should have. And I kind of want to kill the chickens, but the thing is, I want the scuttle crab more. I haven't jungled Poppy since her rework or even her recent nerfs, so I don't know how safe she is anymore. Stun! Nice juke, crab.
Here I come to save
You'll die to red.
Or wreck it. Put a dent in it.
I'll let the red buff kill that. And do I want to go full? Yeah, I do want to go full clear. Smiting this because I have 2 charges up.
Stands.
Probably gonna smite this too. Yep, he needs a little help into the afterlife.
Sometimes. Vi stands for violence. If you hit a wall, it falls.
Okay, from this point on I'll be providing post-game commentary.
I'm doing this.
So, right here it's going to be a failed gank attempt. You can see Annie's trying to get me off. The problem we have right here is just Corki is, as of the... I don't remember what patch this was now that I think about it. I think you can actually see it back during Select, but if this was back during Corki's heyday, then yeah, you're gonna have a really rough time against him in lane. But anyway, my clear has been safe enough relatively up to this point where I can finally go back and get my jungle item completed and boots. I still have some potions left over, I have enough for a pink ward, and basically just keep the ball rolling. Now, in terms of power, we have a significant advantage late game in both Cog and Tryndamere having such really strong late game scaling. And then we also have a crap load of pick potential in Tarek's Dazzle as well as my Assault and Battery. So it can be very rough for the enemy. Unfortunately, at this point I don't have level 6, and Draven is just going to be giving us a lot of problems the entire time. So right there, Poppy went ahead and got the first blood. The important thing is Draven did not get that, so he couldn't cash out the stacks that he's been building up until this point. Now right here I chose to stick around because I was hoping Cog could last hit and I could provide enough support for him to actually farm safely. But you still have the problem of Poppy is conditionally ranged, I'll put it like that. The way her passive works, she has a ranged attack something like every 15 seconds or something. Then Draven and Soraka are both ranged and I'm melee. So the two bot laners actually do have the range advantage on me and they can make things rough, and then the jungler with even the conditional ranged attack can still be a problem. So right there I was trying to see what support item Tarek has exactly. In all honesty, if he's really struggling, if they're struggling that much in the bot lane, he probably should have upgraded the Targons rather than the Sightstone, because the advantage would be the Targons gives him... Yes, it is the Targons. Okay, so the Targons does give him more gold stacks, or whatever you want to call the tribute stacks that the shield generates. So that will help Kog'Maw's last hitting as well as increase his gold generation. Now, due to Kog'Maw being a weaker laner than Draven, he's going to have his back to the tower pretty much the entire laning phase until I can actually gank down there. So the Sightstone should have been very low priority, and in his case I would have went for Targons and just to get the 30-second cooldown on the whole tribute stacks rather than the 60 seconds you get from the Relic Shield. But anyway, right there I went ahead and got the red buff. You can see how fast and safe Vi's clear is. And right now we have level 6, so we need to start making some plays. Now the thing is, we got the Siren to warn us that Corki is coming with his package, and in reality the only place he has to gank is the top lane. If he wanted to gank the bot lane like he was trying there, he'd have to tower dive, and that can go very wrong very quickly. Instead, he decides to use that on Annie. And right here, when we were talking about pick potential, we locked him down until we burst him down. And unfortunately for him, with Annie scaling, it's only going to get worse. So right there you can see Poppy awarded the red buff. She's hovering over there in the brush. I'm here trying to see if maybe I can lure her out some. And I'm not entirely sure when she gets vision of me, so I wasn't entirely sure on how to go about approaching her. Right there we force her ult out. I got the gold from the small creeps. And still, just denying her ult is going to really cripple her gank potential. A lot of poppies try to use their ult as basically like a knock-up, just for sheer damage, not really to reposition the enemy. That way they can follow up with their other moves and potentially get a kill. And that ult, I believe, has either a 2-minute or a 2.5-minute cooldown. So it's a big win for us to disable that. Especially when you factor in that I did not use my ult because I used it on Corki. It just was really nice for us in the grand scheme of things. Now I will go ahead and put out a disclaimer. Poppy is rushing Devour, which is not smart in any regard. Out of all the jungle items, I'd say that one probably gives her the least benefit. But yeah, that's what we have to put up with here. So right here, Annie was too badly banged up. Instead, I just decided to make a pass through, try to get some mana out of Corki. And if I could get him to actually burn up enough, I can actually loop back around once my ult is up to try to get a kill. If you're not aware, Valkyrie has something like a 28-second cooldown, I want to say. This is just a bad engage on Andy's part. Without my ult up, there's really nothing I can do against him, even if he is that injured, just because he can Valkyrie to safety.
I'm doing this.
So right here you'll notice my ult is coming back up. And really nice Soraka silence pretty much saves Draven's life here. We throw everything we have at him and there's just nothing we can do. Rift Herald goes down, but that's no real loss. I don't remember if Poppy takes that, but it always seems like such a waste to me whenever the jungler takes it. If the top laner had it, it could actually mean something, but I don't remember if they're pre-made or not, which makes it unlikely for the jungler to even share it. So right here I'm picking up the Cinder, which is just an all-around nice item, even if you wanted to go for...
Hit it hard.
Well, there's a couple different ways to build Vi here. She's very versatile. Not as much as she used to be, but still pretty good. Thing is, in the event you wanted to go for Warrior Vi, you'd probably still be pretty well served in the event you went for a Sunfire Cape in addition to that. Reason for that being is Sunfire is one of the premier armor items at the moment. Frozen Fist and the Dead Man's Plate being the trifecta. Right there you can see that little stun that Poppy does with her ult to set up a kill.
Sometimes you gotta make a door.
Now unfortunately without Tarek here, and really Cog's bad health, we really can't do too much here.
An enemy has been
So they
slain.
could have chased further into the jungle, and in reality they didn't really have much reason not to. They could see Annie in the mid lane. Cog is in no shape to contest. Tarek's dead. They could have kept going, but I don't know what made them turn back. So the one thing that we will have going in our favor this game is that Tryndamere does pretty well on his own. This is very much like actually it might even be like a Season 1 comp that you can see in the top lane there with Jax versus Tryndamere. And it's a very swingy matchup. It's just our Tryndamere seems to be vastly superior to the Jax. Sadly, due to the way Tryndamere's passive works, there actually is a large element of RNG, and based on where he gets his crits. So right there I dropped my smite on Corki to lower his damage, that way he wasted a lot of resources on me. Fortunately, since the Draven is so dominant bot lane, there really wasn't anything we could have done regarding the dragon. They forced the Poppy off after the fact, but problem is that's after the fact.
Let's get cracking.
So right there I went for the Warhammer just for the CDR primarily, as well as the small amount of extra AD. There's a few different ways that you can go with the Warhammer, but CDR on Vi is really nice that you can get more ults off. If I can layer my ult with another form of CC, we can generally kill the target. Now the thing is, you may be saying, what about Soraka just a moment ago? You also have to remember Kog'Maw didn't have any items there, and his late game scaling has yet to kick in.
Sometimes
Once he's actually a little bit stronger, then yes, if I ult someone and Cog is right there, they're dying, period. In case you're wondering, yes, you will see this later on with a kind of unique time dive.
I don't need a plan.
An enemy has been slain.
So right there with nothing to be found on Jax, I just turned right over to the Scuttle Crab. I don't think I realized Poppy had the Devourer at this point, so I'm not trying to deny her the stacks just yet, but that's ultimately my plan. So you can see right here I'm scrambling to get into the fight, but my team is fine, so I just go back to farming. So one thing I have to admit is whether or not people really care for it, the way I play jungle has a lot of farming in it. I try to play around stuff like my ult and so on. This is a really ugly moment. So right there I killed Corki, but now I'm up against a Draven with a red buff. So right there I tried to knock him into the minions, in case you're wondering. Right here I'm trying to just slug it out. Unfortunately, he gets reinforcements from Soraka with Wish as well as Poppy showing up, so I had to try to make a run for it, and you can see that the bot lane isn't really taking advantage of it too well. They push it up to the tower, but they're not using the opportunity to get any sort of damage, and they're just backing off, which is a little disheartening.
I'm my own backup.
Your turret has been destroyed.
So I should point out I am planning to get the Frozen Fist next so that I can provide some CC in addition to just my Q and my ult. Of course, the 20% CDR is very nice as well, and since I'm going for the tank vibe build, that means I'm going to have a little bit above average armor. Right here you can see the Devourer Wolf, I think. So right there, Poppy went down, and we have Jax on the ropes. Cog went down, Draven finally got to cash out some more.
I don't need a plan.
And right here I am trying to stall for a little bit of time before my ult is up.
Piltover's fine.
So right there, Tarek passed over a ward. You can see Soraka's silence interrupts my channel. And I decided if I can't ruin Draven's day, so right here I'm pulling Corki out of the fight. He's not farming, he's not getting assists, he's not getting anything. Instead, he wasted a lot of time to come mid, and he didn't get anything off of the bot lane. Unfortunately, the flip side of that, of course, is yeah. So the Draven is becoming a bit of an issue. I went for the Sheen first, in case you're wondering, for burst damage.
Your turret has been destroyed.
That way, when I Q into someone and follow up with an E, I can ideally get 2 Sheen procs off for some unexpected damage.
Who needs a beat down?
So right here you can see I'm trying to come from behind. You can see I passed over a ward. If you notice, Soraka got the kill on me. From there, we still have 3 people left over. You can see Poppy get eaten alive regardless of Soraka's heals. And the important thing is we got the shutdown on Draven. So we got the bounty, got passed around to the entire team, and right here I'm warning them Corki's on his way. He's really only got bot lane to come to. They don't have a tower anymore to protect them. So despite Corki's dominance in the mid lane as of this patch, the one here just has some really bad luck regarding the package. whenever it's up, he's always seemingly having no place to go with it. You can see right there when he did use it. Had Cog actually went the other way, he could have been fine, but that should have been a wasted package.
Double kill.
If you hit a wall, hit it hard.
Now, unfortunately, this is one of those moments where I'm going to die, and I think I actually take a look at Tarek's Sightstone, because for as little vision as we have down here, I kind of have to wonder what he's doing with that stone that he rushed. Because if you notice, we have one ward over by the red buff, and then I'm kind of at a loss as to where to find his other ones.
I let my hands do the talking. Let's get cracking.
And in case you're wondering, I could have given this to Annie, but she wasn't really as impactful at the moment. So I figure if I keep it to myself, I can get 10% more CDR, and thus hopefully get some more spells out.
Let's get the fun.
Right here is one of those moments where you wish you had a ranged move to go aggro the red buff to come to you.
You gotta make it.
So right there I got my level 11. And down goes Corki. So hopefully it makes sense why I took the red smite here. It's making my dueling that much stronger, and there's a few instances where I probably should have died, but the smite has kept me going. And I need to get out of there as fast as possible, because don't forget Draven has Whirling Death, which is a semi-global move.
Hit it hard.
Basically, had I stuck around, it would have just been free gold for him. Plus, he's already snowballing out of control, so that's not very desirable.
Plan.
Speaking of Whirling Death, you heard it right there, I hope. So right there I smite Jax to lower his damage. And he shows up for the follow-up, but then their team follows up from that, and our Cog is sitting under the tower of the wrong lane. What's worse is, with that Hurricane, he's really our source of wave clear. We really need him up here just to hit W and then melt the wave. But you can see he's just way too late.
I'm doing this my
So keep in mind, all that turret health we lost for probably like 4 minions. Not a good trade by any stretch of the imagination. So right here I was hoping to get Draven, but the important thing is, if you didn't notice, if you see his health now, that means Soraka had to pretty much sacrifice all of hers to bring him back up to that point. And as such, she's toast. Now when you remember that it's Annie who killed her, you could even argue that she's literally toast.
Piltover's finest.
Don't you just love the smell of scorched unicorn in the morning?
Disconnected.
So in case you don't remember how your jungle item works, it gives you about 10% lifesteal against jungle creep. So that's why I'm trying to walk around and just smash things up. I'm also sustaining myself while still generating gold and EXP. And things will be a lot smoother for us once I actually finish the Frozen Fist, because then we'll have those slow fields littered throughout the battlefield to just slow the enemy down when they try to kite backwards. So, Cog said he was strong. I forgot what it was he bought exactly that made him think that. The important thing is, as long as he starts to group with us, we can start to get stuff done. But in the meantime, it's time for one of those premier armor items, and this one being the Dead Man's Plate. Basically, I want this just so I'm tankier, I have a bigger slow field, and I get more annoying as a result.
I'm my own backup.
So I didn't get Corki, but I got the next best thing, right? And right here I'm going to chase the Jacks. In case you're wondering why,
I'm doing this my way.
so right there I got the kill off on him. And he's gonna be dead for the dragon fight.
An enemy has
Plus, with Tryndamere killing Draven, even though it cost Tryndamere his own life, we're in a much better position to secure this one.
You gotta make a door.
So basically, all of that was so that we could get the first dragon of the game for ourselves. Of course, I could have helped with the mid-siege, yes, but Cog and Tarek had that under control, so I needed to be somewhere else where we could still generate something. Right there you can see how fast he shreds camps exactly with his Rage Blade.
Plan? I don't need a plan.
And you can start to see Draven's going on to it.
Here I come to save the day.
Now, unfortunately, I do whiff a move here pretty badly. Yes, I missed my Q at short range. I did use my ult a little prematurely. The thing is, I knew he couldn't really Valkyrie to safety because he'd have to get through me first in order to do that. And even in the event he did, I'd just Q after him, and my Q has something like a 1/7 of the cooldown his Valkyrie does, so he wasn't going to do it. Now, unfortunately, I did want to do a little bit more to the Baron, but Tryndamere was slow to get here, and as such, I took a little too much damage trying to do this. Now, I don't know entirely what type of damage it is Baron inflicts. I know the dragon is magic damage, and based on how much armor I had here, the Baron was hitting me a little too hard, so I don't know if it's hybrid or what exactly. The important thing is with Deadman's I'm even more mobile, and we're getting close to the moment you guys have been waiting for. First things first, I had to splatter Poppy. Then I had to come over here and splatter Jax. And you guys are saying go for the Penta, aren't you? Well, once I take the Scuttle Crab, I'm gonna need you guys to say something.
I'm my own backup.
In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might wear my power, Green Lantern's light. So yes, I made the sacrifice play, but keep in mind I killed 4 of the enemies there and set Draven up for a death by Cog. We ace them, we keep our Baron buff, and we're going to start picking up some towers as a result of all that. Now right here I'm looking at what MR item I want exactly. Hex Drinker into Maw is pretty nice. But the thing is, I'm trying to be more tanky here than anything else. And I have to make use of the Banshee Veil in its current form because they're changing that, and I'm not exactly happy about all the changes they're making to it. So yeah, all of that was pretty much the fallout from that martyr play I made in the bot lane. We picked up the top laner and the jungler first, then I went ahead and killed the mid laner support and set up AD carry. The good news is my team was able to follow up on that. If not for that, it would have been a lot uglier and Draven could have been a lot more dangerous in the long run. So I'm very grateful for that. But anyway, with that, the third inhibitor has gone down, and the Ryan is on the wall for the enemy team.
Let's get cracking.
Unfortunately, right here we can't close out the game just yet, but we have just a stranglehold on the flow of the game. There's really nothing the enemy can do to get back into it. There's no dragon for them to get, there's no Baron. With 3 inhibitors down, the double super minions are going to start pouring in. They're going to try this poke stuff, but Terra can keep us topped off. It's just really, really bad for the enemy. Plus with Cog, we have poke on our side. His poke is going to hurt a lot worse than pretty much anything they have. So right here I'm just trying to clear out the minions so that the lanes can push in. And the double supers have arrived. So time to end this, guys. For old time's sake, we splatter jacks. Nexus turrets go down. And like usual, we have to make sure that we dance on the enemy's base. The bosses. That's the Green Lantern. So yeah, I'm hoping regular videos can start to return after this, but things have been a little hectic lately, and I wasn't really planning on uploading this game, but here it is. Right there, due to the LCS game, you can see when exactly it was recorded, but that's for another time. Until then, I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and good